Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Monday the 3rd of August. We continue our reflections in Ruth. The book starts with Naomi, married to Elimelech, 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, and a famine comes on the nation. And they leave Bethlehem where they live and go to Moab where there's food. Picking it up at verse 3 in chapter 1. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth. After they'd lived there about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died. Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. And as I read that, I was just struck by how life changes. It starts off for Naomi looking good. She has a husband, one presumes a loving husband. She has 2 sons. She's provided for today. She's provided for in her old age. Life is good. In contrast to somebody like Sarah, who, although she had a loving husband, had no children and was desperate. You have the story of somebody like Hannah, the mother of Samuel, also no children, desperate to have children, crying out to God. Naomi had a husband and children, 2 sons. Everything was good, and yet everything changes. And in the space of 10 years, she loses everything. And it just struck me that we do not know what tomorrow brings. We can live for today, but we don't know what is around the corner for us, which can be a frightening thought, that we think no matter where we are today, everything might come unstuck tomorrow. What do? Well, we don't panic, because that doesn't help at all. You make provision where you can. So yes, insurance is a good idea. Putting away money in a pension scheme is sensible. We do all those sensible things to provide for ourselves. But ultimately, we have to remember that God is in control. We serve a God who knows the end from the beginning. We've no idea what happens this afternoon, let alone tomorrow. God knows what happens throughout history. He knows the trajectory of our lives. He knows what's going to happen. And therefore, we take comfort from that. We don't know, but God does. And He will lay the foundations. He will work it out. And as we read through the book of Ruth, we see that things do work out. You go through a time of struggle and suffering, but it does work out in the end. And that's what we trust God will do. And so we live today in faith. And if we've been blessed, we enjoy the blessings and we thank God for them, and we share them where we can. And we recognize this is for today. Tomorrow, as Jesus said, will take care of itself. Live in today. Trust God today. Walk with God today. Make the provisions you can. Be careful, but don't let tomorrow and its unknownness trip us up. Because though the world doesn't know what will happen tomorrow, God does. And in His hands, we are secure. May that truth be an encouragement and a comfort. Be blessed.